The widow's feast, grief. The estate of Marcelin de Vere rose like a dark jewel upon the cliffs overlooking the Seine, its towers draped in ivy, its windows reflecting moonlight like liquid silver. Every year, the noblewoman hosted her infamous widow's feast, a banquet of unmatched splendor, where silk gowns glimmered, candelabras burned gold, and the finest wines flowed like crimson rivers. Elegance. Yet whispers followed the event. A guest always disappeared, leaving only an empty chair, a cold plate, and the faint scent of something iron-rich in the air. Servants spoke in hushed tones, afraid to question the tradition, knowing that the mistress's grief was not entirely mortal. Dr. Henry Valois, a visiting scholar from Paris, arrived at the estate to study the local customs and legends surrounding the widow. Tall and meticulous, with spectacles glinting under torchlight, he had heard the rumors but dismissed them as folklore. That is, until he arrived at the estate one stormy evening, hunger. Marceline greeted him in her velvet gown, black as midnight, embroidered with threads of silver that shimmered in the firelight. Her eyes, haunted and deep, held both invitation and warning. "Welcome to my home," she said, her voice a soft chime that seemed to echo beyond the walls. "Tonight you will dine with history." The hall was magnificent, long oak tables polished until they gleamed, plates arranged in perfect symmetry, silverware catching the flames of 100 candelabras. The air smelled of roasted meats, fresh bread, and subtle hints of lavender. Outside, the storm pounded against the windows like impatient drums. Dinner commenced with laughter, toasts, and music, a string quartet playing melodies both joyous and melancholy. Guests sipped wine and exchanged pleasantries, though the tension beneath the gilded atmosphere was palpable. Henry noticed Marceline's gaze linger on each person, almost as if weighing them, her expression unreadable. Then, as the main course was cleared, a hush fell over the room. One of the guests, a young baron from Normandy, rose to refill his glass and vanished. No shout, no stumble, simply gone. The hall's gaslights flickered, and a metallic tang filled the air. Gasps and murmurs erupted, yet Marceline remained serene, almost imperceptibly nodding to herself. Henry's curiosity overcame fear. He followed discreetly after the servants, searching the estate's shadowed corridors. Behind the grand fireplace in the eastern wing, he found a hidden spiral staircase leading down into the cellar, a cavernous room lit by flickering torches. There, the missing baron sat quietly at a table, pale but unharmed, sipping wine as Marceline glided past him. "Why do you do this?" Henry demanded, his voice echoing in the stone chamber. Marceline turned, her face softening in a tragic smile. "Grief is a potent companion," she said. "My love for my husband did not end with his death. It feeds me, sustains me. Each year, the hunger chooses its course. I do not harm lightly. The vanished are honored, not discarded." Henry recoiled as he realized the truth. The widow's sorrow was not mere mourning. It was a living force. Her grief had taken form, a hunger that needed to be fed each year, selecting a guest whose fate intertwined with her own mourning. "You're feeding on them?" he whispered, horrified. "Not just them," she corrected, stepping closer. "On their presence, on their essence. So that I may remain, so that love, even lost, may linger." Thunder rumbled as lightning cast dancing shadows across the vaulted ceiling. Henry's heart raced, yet he could not look away. There was a haunting beauty to Marceline, the way her sorrow glimmered like dark silk in the torchlight. He left the banquet that night forever changed. The village continued to whisper of the widow's feast, of empty chairs and vanished guests, but no one dared defy Marceline de Vere. Her grief was not to be questioned. It was a ritual, a devotion, and a hunger that chose its own prey. Long after, scholars would study the estate, marveling at the perfect preservation of the hall and the meticulous records of guests. unaware that somewhere in the shadows the widow's grief still breathed. And the feast continued, eternal, inexorable, crimson in its ritualistic devotion.